Hi, welcome. I'm cremefatale. Welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited to show you guys how to do this really cool Lisa Frank inspired neon look. If you don't know me, my name is cremefatale. I've been doing drag for 6 years. And I'm just starting to do these makeup tutorials, which people have been asking me for a really long time, which I'm really excited to do. So if you want to learn how to get this Lisa Frank face, please stay tuned and watch the video. I'm going to be putting my hair back. I watch a lot of videos. It looks like I have a cast on. Like Instagram videos especially, where people like do their makeup and they have like their hair down and they're like with the brush like moving their bangs back and forth, and I'm like super annoyed by that. We're actually going to do makeup today, so get a headband and move your hair back. Okay, so now that I have my hair pulled back, everything's clean. I have this cat shirt on. If you watch any of my TikToks, you know that I always have this cat shirt. Just because I basically wear any like pajama shirt or any shirt that's gonna get like destroyed, that's what I'll wear. So the first thing that I like to do when doing my makeup is I glue down my hairline. Every time I post like a TikTok of me gluing my hairline down, I always get so many comments like, ugh, I can't believe you're gluing your hairline down, or ugh, glue in the hair. Like people get like so disgusted by it, but it's literally the same glue that you would use to like put your eyebrows down. It's the Elmer's washable glue and it comes off with like water. So I put my hair down specifically because my hairline is pretty low. I like to push my hair back and glue these baby hairs like back and down just so that they're not in my way. You see these baby hairs like all throughout here. So I still shave like a good deal of like my hairline and stuff, but I'm not going to shave like the entire first like quarter of my head off. Like I'm not that hardcore. So gluing them down allows me to kind of like paint over them a little bit so that when I put my lace front wig on, the sides kind of sit on top of the hair and then partially on the skin. That way it's not like black hair coming out of the wig. Okay, so I put in my contact lenses. So these are the Starshine Gray from TTDEye. You can use my code cremefatale, all lowercase, no spaces, to get a discount on these lenses. So I am going to show you guys how to create a base. So as you know, I do make my own like different color foundations. I'm not going to give you the recipe because maybe one day I'll have the money to create some makeup brand and release them myself. So I did get some stuff just to show you guys like what you can use as an alternative. I did get some Clown White Light. I used to use this back in the day, but this is what it looks like. This is a brand new one. So I do like this a lot more than the Clown White, the normal one. That one is very like thick. And heavy. This one is a little creamier, but it doesn't feel greasy, which is the good thing. So I'm going to take a little spatula, and I have like this little palette here. It looks dirty, but it's just scratched. And then I'm going to scoop a little bit of that out. So I'm going to do like a white base today, or a pretty white base, just so like all of the neons can pop. And then do kind of like a grayish kind of contour. Just so like it doesn't look too warm. I have my regular foundation that's going to go all over my face and my neck and my ears. Yes, paint your ears. And then a little dollop here. This is going to be my highlight. So how are you going to highlight white skin? Okay, so I never actually do white foundation. So many people ask me like, what's your white foundation? Like what white foundation that I'm using, like what are you wearing? So I never actually just use white. I think white foundation, like the regular Clown White, just looks bad on everyone. Sorry, clowns. I always say like add a little bit of color to your white foundation. What I like to do for like porcelain doll looks, like really cutie looks with like little pink lips or whatever, but my like skin is porcelain and I do like a brown contour, I do add a little bit of brown cream, a little bit of peach also, just to kind of give it a little bit of a tint of something. So don't do pure white. It's gonna look pure white to everybody else. So to anybody that's looking at you, whether you're like in grayscale or whether you're in like more of like a porcelain doll look with more browns, or whether you're in like that ice queen look, it's gonna look white to other people, but it's not white. And I'll tell you why that is better. It does cover a lot better because you're adding a little bit more cream, a little bit more color into it, and it also doesn't look as dirty or muddy. I feel like a lot of the time it's very, very difficult to make like a pure white base that looks pure white and like incredible. I have like the white. Like I said, I want to do like a kind of grayish grayscale. This is really disgusting, so please don't judge me, but I do have one of these palettes. Is it a Makeup Forever Flash palette? No. This is like the cheap Amazon version of it, and I actually like it better. I like it a lot better. And I really love this one because it's definitely not as oily. It's a little bit more matte, which is perfectly fine for me because I'm just mixing it with something else usually. Seeing like videos of people like using like a Makeup Forever Flash palette or like the cheaper alternative here to like actually do like a full face of color foundation, it looks very blotchy. Whatever your Krylon lightest stick, even like a lightest color foundation that you have, even if it has a little bit of like a yellow or a red or whatever, always mix your colored foundations with something else, because if they come in a cream stick form, even like the Mayron sticks, the Krylon sticks, or even, you know, the Makeup Forever palette, they're always going to be greasy. They're never going to be like matte enough or nice enough to just put directly on your skin as is. Even if you're putting a little bit of like, let's say you're using like a Mayron cream stick. You love the color of the Mayron cream stick. You want to be that color. But I just told you, don't put that directly on your skin. You can put a little bit of the regular Clown White, the thick one. We're using the Clown White Light today, so this is the thinner one. But the thick one, take a little dollop of that, a big chunk of the Mayron stick, and mash it together. That's going to give you a little bit of that thicker texture, not change the color too drastically. The more color that you add to the Clown White, the more it's just going to look like the color that you started with. So I'm going to take a little bit of the black. Not too much. And when I say like the tiniest amount, because black paint is really strong, I mean like the tiniest. You can see I have like a tip. It's not even like a chunk. It's just like barely coating the top of that. And I'm going to take it on the palette and just mix it together. See? It still looks white. Then I'm going to take a little bit of that black. I put it on the edge of the palette. I'm going to take a little bit of the Clown White, just a tiny bit, and make like a dark gray color. That's what I'm going to use to contour. So as a base, I'm going to do like the white face with the gray scale contours. Then I'm going to do my eyes, and I'll do my lips too. And the last thing that I'll do and add on top of my makeup is that kind of animal print and all the neons and stuff. Okay, so I have my primer on. I'm going to use my Anastasia Beverly Hills A30 brush. This is their like foundation brush. It's really nice and dense, so I do recommend that you use like a really dense brush. Like you're using a full coverage foundation, typically they recommend use a dense brush. Same goes for like this kind of paint. I also like using, I don't know where I got this. Somebody sent this to me, but it's actually pretty good. Try to stay away from like these flat brushes. These are really only good for like sheer things. So I'm going to take a little bit on the brush and just tap it in there and then go in. And you can see the coverage on that is so nice. I used to use this like religiously. I still like it. It's not bad. So normally I go between like doing my eyes and doing my base first. And for me it changes like every single time. I'm not like a diehard of like do your eyes first or do your face first. I don't really care. It really just depends on like how I'm feeling that day. And since I'm not going to do a whole lot with the eyes because the focus is going to be like on everything that's on the face, I'm just going to do my complexion first. I'm still contemplating eyeshadow. I have no idea if I'm going to do like any eyeshadow at all or just do like a really graphic liner, because I don't want it to take the focus away from anything else. You can see I'm applying it like super haphazardly. I don't really care about applying it nicely because I'm going to go back in with a blender and smooth it all out like a little sponge. And I am putting it on my hair. So many people hate this when I do it on TikTok. They're like, ugh. Like, grow up. So this is just like a really light layer, and this doesn't feel heavy on the skin at all. I always get that question from people, but the Mayron Light Clown White is really like smooth. It's actually like lighter weight feeling than a lot of like foundations nowadays. I mean, it feels more lightweight than like the Juvia's Place that I use for like my regular face, or my regular like flush tone drag face. And I look like a demon. And I'm going to take my sponge. I'm going to use my Sony Akashic one. Look at how filthy. It's not filthy. Wash your sponges every time. Like, if you're going to do something for yourself, like, love yourself enough to like wash your sponge before you use it. If not for anything but for vanity, so that your skin doesn't get messed up. I do like a cheap sponge. I do like a cheap anything, if you haven't noticed. Like, I feel like for doing drag, for drag's sake, like, don't spend a bunch of money. Make sure you go into like your nostril area too, like this area that like, I'm gonna pull my nose back, but this area that has a little pocket, if you have that little pocket, get in there. I'm getting some in there too. I like to serve the full fantasy. Oh! I don't want to see flush. Okay, so I'm going to add highlight to the skin. Be aware you're going to get like filthy. Like, we're going to get filthy. I like to go in with my finger for this and tap underneath the eye. So I'm adding a highlight there. You can see how much brighter it is. I'm not super precise with it. And I mostly just like take it down the nose with my finger too. And then around my mouth and on the chin. So that looks super crazy. So I'm using this Anastasia brush. It's the 18. It's just like a really small concealer brush. And I'm just doing like a contour. So I like to go from like my ear down and then kind of like brush it up. I always feel like drag looks like hideous until you finish it. Like, it looks disgusting and demonic.
Gargoyles! Psychics! Everything's ungodly!
And ungodly. Until it's done and then you're like, ooh. I'm gonna take a little bit of this. And give myself a jawline. And I'm gonna be more precise around my nose. So I kind of create like a circle around that little white highlight. That. And then take this brush from where my eye socket is, right here, which would normally be like where your brow bone begins and like your nose. Take that. I'm going to go in first with the highlight with that same sponge. Use like a really light pressure when you're doing this. Make sure that you're not like pushing the sponge in, but rather just like lightly tapping it. And the same with this. So this I'm tapping, pushing a little bit up. So you can see my arm is going kind of like up and down. And then blending it into that. Like that. So for the nose, I am going to go in with a smaller blender. This is the Colourpop one. I got this in PR also. I do have a Colourpop code if you want. 5 cremefatale, 5 cremefatale, all lowercase after 5. That should get you some money off. Doesn't look bad. I'm going to dip into my like gray color, the first base that we started with. Tap a little bit on my hand and kind of blend out that like harsh brow bone that we got going on. Perfect. And then I'm going to take my finger again, because I do like doing my nose contour with my finger. You can use a brush if you like it better. I usually take it on my middle finger, get a nice little coating on it, just like that. And then go down my nose. There we go. I'm going to go through with that sponge again that has the darker stuff on it. Pat around the little edges. Going in with my white sponge again. Tapping a little bit of that clown white tapping excess off, going back in, doing the area around my nose contour, and then tapping back into my eye area. And then I'm going to squeeze this and just tap really lightly on top, like barely touching it. I also like to use the same sponge, dip it into my powder. I am using the RCMA powder. This is just the no color powder. That's the powder that I use for literally every like different skin tone look, the blue, purple, like whatever. I even use it just for my regular face sometimes. I really love it. So I like to dip the sponge into it, then tap off like excess, and then set the under eye. Then I'm going to use one of these big powder puffs. This one's a clean one. I did sanitize it before. So tap that into there, and then go into the larger areas and like literally beat my face. I don't want to move any of that nose contour, so I'm really gentle in that area. So it feels pretty dry now. I'm going to go in with like just a brush, like a big fluffy brush to dust off any powder. Okay, so now we're going to get into contouring. I am going to use my Colourpop Smoke Show palette. Obviously very well loved and very, very used. I'm going to go into Stone Face first, which is a very, very pale gray. And I'm using my Anastasia A23 brush. It's like our highlighting brush, but it's really awesome for contour. And I'm going to be using a card. So this is a very like classic drag queen thing, is to use something to cut like your cheek with. Anything like that, postcard, like a piece of mail, you could use. So I'm just putting it against that line that we made and starting to contour. This just gives you like a really crisp line. I'm going to show you guys. I'll be going into the color Slated next. And I don't want to let go of that postcard because I don't want to align it into a different place that it's not like where I had it originally, and then have like two different lines that I'll have to clean up. And I'm focusing the majority of that like on the outer, so I'm not bringing the darkest color all the way in. So with the lightest color, it kind of went everywhere. The darker color, I'm bringing it down a little bit, but I'm mostly focusing it like on the top, because we want it to create like a natural shadow. And this shadow for like the cheek is like naturally a little bit more like a triangle like that. So the largest amount being at the very top by your hair. Perfect. Doing literally the same thing on the other side. Perfect. We have our cheeks. And then for the jawline, I'm going to do the same thing with Stone Face, and then going in with Slated, which is that color. A natural and like a regular beauty guru's like worst nightmare is having that line between like their cheek and their neck, but like it's drag and we want that. Okay, so now I'm going to go over the nose contour. I'm going to be using this brush. This is from Royal and Langnickel. I have no idea. Somebody also sent this to me, but it's amazing. It's an angled shader brush. Any angled like shader is going to work really well. I like the angle because it allows me to like really get in there and press it against my nose. And I'm basically going to be doing the same thing that I did with my cheeks, going with one color, which is Stone Face. I'm going to tap a little off because I don't want too much. I'm doing this in my mirror so you can also see. Going along that contour that already exists, the contour that I like already did with the cream, and just kind of like bringing it back a little bit more. And I like to go in that area where it's like the brow bone and add a little bit more and like softly blend it into the face a bit more. Then I'm going in with Slated, which was that darker gray, right in this little crease first, and then bring that down. So you can see it's like really defined. Taking Slated and I'm doing the bottom. I'm kind of going around that little boop. I'm going to go on top of it too. I like to create a line of distinction between like the end of where my nose contour is, and between the boop, just so the boop looks a little bit more like a pushed up nose, like rounded a little bit more. So I do that by closing that off. Like I said, I like to redefine that boop a little bit more. Boop, like that. And I'll use that same brush to get a little of that powder, just the RC Matte powder, and like just set that little boop right there. Okay, so I'm going to highlight underneath my eye on my, just a bunch of different areas. Using probably every drag queen's like favorite eyeshadow, which is Sugarpill's Taco. They did send me this, which is really awesome. I've been using Sugarpill since like I started doing drag because it was like the only brand that had like really pigmented, colorful shadows. But Taco is like the best shadow. I am taking this sponge right here. I'm dipping it into that Taco, just kind of rubbing it and using that as like a brightening powder underneath the eye and around the nose. See how much brighter that is on the forehead? So pretty. Just around the orbital bone and right underneath that. I'm going to take my RCMA powder again. I'm going to be using that like large powder puff. I like to take it and squish it, dip it, and we're going to bake. So right underneath that jawline, or that cheekbone. Around the mouth especially is where I need to bake, because for me, that's where my makeup breaks up first. Around the nose. I don't really do underneath the eye because I don't want it to get like crispy, but I'll do like around the edges of the eye like that, so that we can like sweep off any shadow. And then of course a little bit down the nose. Next we're going to do eyes. Okay, so I decided that I am going to do a little bit of eyeshadow, just a plain like grayscale shadow, and then maybe do like a neon liner. I could just do a graphic liner, but I like to make everything harder for myself, so I'll be using this brush. This is the MAC 227. I don't know if it's a real MAC 227. I bought this on eBay, so it could be fake, but it's amazing. It's like this huge fluffy, look how big that is. So I'm going to do a grayscale eyeshadow. I'm going to go in with Stone Face again. Tap and start in that area. So after Stone Face, I'm going to go in with Slated, which is just that darker gray, and tap that into the brow bone too, kind of connecting my nose contour and my eyeshadow. Then I'm taking the A22 brush from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I'm going into Sugarpill Taco and just highlighting that brow area, or where, this is where I'm gonna like guesstimate the brows. I don't want to do brows like first today because I'm doing such a graphic look that I think I'm just gonna do like pencil brows, just so like it doesn't distract from anything. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go in with the Anastasia A13 brush. It's a really short, like stubby shading brush. Go into Slated and go around my nose into my eye. So I'm going to doing like a rounded shape, and then we're going to bring it out and up. So you can see I'm bringing it out and then up. This is going to connect with my cat eye later. Now I'm going to use this. I'm going to go into Night Dream, which is a really pretty glittery black. I find that one to actually be darker than the matte black that's in the palette, which is called Let's Do It. I think the glittery one is like somehow more pigmented. I'm going to use that, and I'm going to go into that area that we just did. I'm going to take it on the outer bottom half of that eye, just here, and then up. I'm going to do the same to the other side, and I'll be right back. I'm going to go through and cut like a really just like bare crease. I'm using the Clown White. I'm going in with the Morphe M224, which is like a concealer brush. I'm going to start on my inner corner, basically using like the tip of the brush like a pencil. Then I'm going to go through with more white, just tap it out. A lot of the times for other color looks, I'll just use this as a pencil, like kind of sketch out where I want my cut crease to go, and then take a makeup wipe or like a Q-tip with like a little bit of cleansing oil, and then clean off all of the makeup on my lid if I want it to be like a really nice like pop of color and I want that color to be very, very vibrant, and then I'll lay down a base and then I'll go over with the eyeshadow. Because I'm doing more of a grayscale look today and I'm just gonna like tap probably just white over our cut crease, I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so when I'm done adding that white, I'm gonna go through with Taco again. Using that same A24 brush from Anastasia Beverly Hills and just tapping that shadow down. And I'm going to do the cut crease on the other eye. The next thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is my eyeliner with a gel liner. So this is Jet from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I am using an A2 brush. This is kind of like a small concealer brush or like a lip brush. But I wear so much eyeliner that it's easier for me to do it with a concealer brush or a lip brush versus like those really fine point like eyeliner brushes. I would be sitting here like all day. So see how flat and like large it is? I'm going to turn it to the side, and that's where I'm going to get like more of a precise line and do that. Now I'm going to grab that, connect it, and bring it down. And now I'm going to fill it in. That took me like 30 seconds versus like 5 minutes trying to do it with like a little teeny tiny brush. So I'm going to go in with that same MAC brush that we use, that 227, dip it into that black, and I'm going to go ahead and set that gel liner. We are going to go over it with liquid again. I do like using several kinds of eyeliners just to get a really dark.
Not this.
I'm going to do my eyeliner on my other eye and we'll be back. I always say like, you don't have to worry about making things super symmetrical because you can always be like moving around. Just like talk to somebody with like the side of your face. I'm going to go ahead and do like my upper waterline. Please do your top lash line if you're gonna wear a lot of eyeliner, because I'm so tired of seeing so many queens with like that fleshy piece under their eye and like huge eyeliner. It just doesn't look finished. It doesn't look finished. And anytime I see that, I want to like go in there with a pencil and like wiggle it. But we don't do that. But please. I know it's uncomfortable. The more that you do it, the less it's gonna be uncomfortable. I feel how like the only discipline that I have is with makeup. They say like it gets easier to work out too the more that you do it, but I don't know about that. So I'm filling in like all of the gaps. I like to take it like on the bottom too, but only about a third of the way in, because that's gonna meet where my bottom liner is gonna be. The next thing that I'm gonna do is use a liquid liner. I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid liner, and I'm going to go over the wings that we did with the gel. And the reason that I go over it with a liquid liner is because I really like it to look black. I want my eyeliner to look dark. I want it to look like black, black, black. I also like the precision. It looks so much better. So I'm going to do that to the other side. Okay, so I'm going to go through with the NYX matte liner. This is the matte liquid liner. I like this because it has a brush tip to it. And I'm going to go ahead and do a line on the bottom connecting to my wing. Then I'm going to take the NYX white liner, and that's how I'm going to do that liner down there. I'll actually probably have to go back in with this one and redefine the line that I just did. I just like having like a little place that I know where it's going to be. I'm doing the white liner. I do like to do a little bit of like a triangle shape going in towards my nose. Then I'm going to take Sugarpill Taco. I'm trying not to look up at the camera because I don't want it to move because it's still like super wet. But I'm taking the Anastasia brush, it has like paint all over it, the A14 into Taco, dipping it and tapping Taco, that Sugarpill white, into the NYX white liquid liner. Like that. You see? It totally changes the eye shape to have like that white there. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same to the other side. I did get a lot of like questions about people asking about the NYX white liner because a lot of people find that it cracks. It does crack. I find that setting it while it's still kind of wet and kind of dry, so like let it stay a little bit wet, going in with a Taco or like any white shadow and like really setting it helps so much. So I'm going to do that on the other side and I'll be back. With the A13 brush that we used earlier, I'm just dipping that into both of the blacks. And I'm just like smudging that. So the next thing that I'm going to do is add mascara. I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills mascara. You can use whichever one that you like. It doesn't really matter. We'll be wearing like a ton of false lashes. Anything to basically just make your lashes black. The next thing that I want to do is add a little bit of blush. Even though we are like completely grayscale, I still like to add a little bit of blush to add life to it. Okay, so I'm going to use a really muted blush for this look just because I don't want it to be like super hot pink or anything, because I want, again, the focus to be on like what we're going to do later. So I'm going to use Girl on Girl. This is from Trixie Cosmetics, and this is just like a really light peach. You can see it just gives like barely something, like barely, just a little something. A little bit on the tip of the nose. Again on the cheeks. Perfect. I do want to highlight. I am going to use the Snowflake Loose Highlighter from ABH. It's my favorite one to use for like any white tones. I'm going to get the ABH brush, the A10. This is just an eyeshadow blending brush, something a little bit smaller and more precise. And I'm going to spray it with Dewy Set, just so it picks up a little bit more of that highlighter. And then apply it to the cheekbone, just to give the skin more of a glow. It just looks so dewy and so pretty for like wearing like 10 pounds of clown white. Then I'm going to take that small pencil brush that we used for Taco, spritz that, and then go into that highlighter. Just tap it on the boob. I'm going to take whatever's left over on this highlighting brush and just go over the brow bone. So I always like to add a little bit of sparkle underneath the eye where my white eyeliner is. I found these on Amazon. They're just like nail art rhinestones. They're pretty small. They're the SS16 size. And then a little bit of the Ardell Lash Grip. This is just a clear lash glue. It's not very strong. I wouldn't use it for like my regular lashes, but I trust it for my stones. If I'm going to be like out and like doing a performance and I want to put stones on my face, I'll do that with Spirit Gum, but never like in my eye area. Just because I don't want to like tear up my skin on my under eye. Especially if you're going out, which nobody can go out now, but if you're going out to the club, if it was like normal outside and not dangerous to be out, it's really, really, really beautiful under like the club lights. I get random like rhinestones on me like all the time. Like I'll be like in the bathroom or like get out of bed and have like rhinestones like stuck to my thighs. I love it. Okay, so let's move on to lips. So since I am doing like a blacklight look, I really want to do this for the lip, which is that like really neon-y pink. Just because I think it's going to look really cool if like my lips are also like neon. But I'm going to use a lip liner first. This is the NYX lip liner in Auburn. Like that. And I'm creating drag lips first off. Obviously, our look is not very natural. I get this comment like all the time on like TikToks where people are like, why are you overdrawing your lips so much? And I'm like, it's drag. I have this Paradise makeup brush. And it's kind of just like a watercolor brush. I've been meaning to get more watercolor brushes to use for this. But I'm going to take my Dewy Set and spritz that just to get it wet. Because these are water activated. So you can use water or Dewy Set. Okay. Ooh. Oh, that's bright. That's bright. I'm excited. Oh my god. I love it. Okay, so I'm finding the better method to be like tapping it. So I'm going to put on my regular lash. Like that. Pretty. It already makes a huge difference just putting on my base lash. I really love the way that it's looking so far. So I applied my bottom lashes. These are my Sugarpill porcelain lashes. They're my favorite bottom lashes. So I did apply the lash glue to my 25mm faux lashes, faux mink lashes. So typically I used to do like 10 301 stacked on top of each other to make like a fluffy lash, but lately I've been loving just like 1 or 2 pairs of these really fluffy faux mink lashes because they look like 10 pairs of 301s like stacked up. Like the thickness is so good. So I'm kind of bending it a little bit, and I'm going to apply them from the tip of where I applied these lashes and then applying them at an angle. So like this on my liner, not like on my, right on top of that other lash. So from here, and then pulling it like that. I'm going to go in with the liquid liner from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I'm going to do the same to the bottom. So I like to go over the band of the bottom lashes just to like darken it up. And then I'm going to go over that line with black too, just to darken it up. So this pretty much dried and it looks pretty good, but I am going to try to do like another coat of that pink over it to see if I can get it like more opaque. Okay, so I'm going to go in with that green on those cake liners. I'm going to wet it a little bit with that dewy set. Then I'm going to take the A28 brush. This is from Anastasia. And it's like a really, really like micro thin liner brush. And I'm going to go just do a little accent mark like on that inner crease. Just like that. It's like the slightest little line. Cute! I want to do some brows. So I want to do like a really nice thin pencil brow. Warning, they're not going to be even. I don't really care. So I'm going to do a few practice strokes on my arm, just to get an idea. Then start from the outer and go out like this. See? It doesn't look too bad. I'm going to thicken it up a little bit. These brows are like barely related, but that's okay. Now we can actually do the fun part. I'm so excited. Okay. Let's start the fun. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take that watercolor brush that I was using and tap into that pink. I'm just going to make like little splotches everywhere. Okay, then I'm going to go in with the second stack and I'm going to do the orange. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the green. Actually, I'll do the yellow first, that like highlighter yellow. I love it. Okay, now I'm going to do the green. Oh my god, I love it so much. That's so cute. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry, and then while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and do like an ombre effect on this side with those. So I have a clean beauty blender. This is what I'm going to use. I'm going to go into that yellow first, probably because it's the lightest color, and tap like the butt of that blender in and like tap it on my face. That's pretty. I'm going in with the orange next. Oh, that's so pretty. I love it. Next is that pink. And then do the green. Look at that. That's so cool. I love it. Okay, so all of the spots on this side have dried. So I'm going to go in with my Anastasia liquid liner and I'm going to create those like spots. Oh, that looks so cool. Okay. So I'm going to try to do the tiger stripes on this side. I'm going to do it with the liquid liner first and see how that like actually pans out. I'm looking at like clip art of like the zebra stripes just because, or like tiger stripes, whatever. Probably zebra, right? I don't know. Just because they have such an interesting kind of pattern to them. And I want to make sure I'm not just doing like stripes or like wiggly lines. So let's see. That looks pretty cool. So I feel like the liquid liner is like actually working out pretty well for this. So I'm gonna do the rest of it off camera just because it's gonna take me a really long time. And we're done. I have my fluorescent pink wig on. I have my fluorescent turtleneck situation. I don't have any like neon gloves, so I'm just wearing these like shiny ones that I got on Amazon. You know, normally my gloves are Makiko girl. I got these earrings actually from Trixie Mattel. I don't have any like neon jewelry, so I'm gonna wear these because I feel like they might glow under black light. They look like they might. But I'm super, super happy with the way that this turned out. It looks so cool. I'm excited to see what it looks like under black light. So I'm going to try that out now and let's see how that looks. So here you guys can see the look under black light. It looks so cool. The hair, obviously neon, so it glows in the dark. My lips. You can even see that little tiny line that I did above the crease. And then these like stripes and these spots look so cool. I feel like I'm in like the Lisa Frank Mystic Forest. Thanks for watching, and I hope you come back for some more content. Bye!